Monday morning, and to everyone who's watching the replay, welcome to the show. This is the start of a great couple of interviews I'm super excited about today. My friend Jamie's coming on. Jamie is, I call her the sales whisperer. All those people that you see have these huge launches, and you want to know who the team is behind them. My girl Jamie is actually the team. Up this morning, it is gray and dreary here in Jersey, but the show must go on. We must get out of bed. We must go to the gym. We must bring our friends on to talk to. Hi, James.
Yay, good morning. Okay, I heard what you said. I'm not that cool. I love sales and I love teaching sales, but I'm not that cool, at least not on a Monday morning yet. Good morning.
I will not allow you to do that because you are my sales whisperer, and I know you are a lot of other people's sales whisperer. Maybe it's a new term I gave you for the next visibility thing that you're on. America's sales whisperer. I think I like the sound of that.
Okay,
Jamie's like,
okay.
die, Beth, die.
I'm like, what, like I have that Tim McGraw, like stay humble or whatever, like in my head going on. It's okay. I love sales. I love teaching sales. They're beautiful. Yes, I'll warm up to the sales whisperer. I like it. I like it.
I'm gonna go ask the ladies that I know that you've worked with and see if I say that, and they're gonna be like, oh, yes, that's exactly. We're gonna get T-shirts made. It'll be a whole thing for your birthday.
I
It'll be
like
a
it.
whole thing. It'll be a whole thing. Well, thank you so much for coming back to the show. I'm so happy to hear you, to have you here. But why don't you then give everybody the little synopsis of where you come from and how you got here?
Oh my goodness. Wait, you said we have like 30 minutes. That's like 5 hours. Okay, no. Okay.
That's true. How about the highlights? All the highlights.
High life. Yeah. So basically, like so many of us, that beautiful, like I did traditional academics, right? And then from there went into corporate. And, when I was playing in the corporate world, I loved it. The truth was I was excellent there, top of my game, top 4% in the Buffalo Niagara area where I reside. Rose to the top quickly, involved in all the things and loved it, loved it, loved it. But like many of us, I was also juggling, family, and I was evolving as a woman, and I just thought like there has got to be more. There's got to be a better balance to all of this. I was one of the reasons I love sales is because was someone that helped me honestly along my journey. And I had, the fame and the fortune and all the goodness. And someone was like, Jamie, who's bringing your children to the birthday parties? Who's doing this? And I was like, oh my goodness. And it was this moment where I realized along this journey, you're like, how did you get here? That was it, right? I had the glory, I had the fame, the money was pouring in, but I wasn't showing up as the best version of myself. So after that corporate life, around, I think I'm going into my 7th year, woo, time flies by, into the coaching industry, right? And so I stepped into this beautiful industry. And like many of us, at first I was like, is this viable? Is this a real thing? Does this exist? And
Yes.
what I realized is, yes, it does. And what it offered me is flexibility to show up as the mom that I wanted to be, show up as the best version of myself, show up as the partner that I wanted to be, and really essentially kind of have my all. And here's the thing, I thought like, man, I rose to the top in corporate and I was there like a little over 12 years and I have to be here 12 years again to like make it big, if you will. And then I was like, you know what? I learned very fast that sales is sales. When you kind of take the beauty of connection and communication and those deep relationships, it really translates across any industry. So here I am now, 7 years in, doing my thing, still loving sales and teaching the world how to love sales as well.
And you really do. So that always makes me think of like, where did sales start for you? Because
Oh,
it didn't start in the corporate, right?
no.
In the classroom, you're like, oh, I'm getting you have your MBA. I don't want to say it
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah,
You have
no,
your
you're
MBA, right?
right. Yeah, which is
Okay.
funny because I never talk about it, but I do have an MBA. Correct. Yes.
So right,
Yes.
you weren't sitting in your MBA class going, I love sales. But where did sales like start for you? Where did the love affair begin?
Yeah. And this is interesting. I think if you would have asked me back then, and I actually remember in my very first I remember my first direct sales role. I was like, I'll never directly sell. And I was like, oh my goodness, I kind of did like a high level review of any job I ever had. And I was like, oh, I guess I was always selling in some capacity, right? And we talk about that. But I think, if I really think about like where my love for sales are, I think a couple of things. I think there's all these fancy tests out there. You know, when we
Mm-hmm.
look at human design and Enneagram and all this goodness, I mean, the truth is I have so many open centers. So I love connecting and understanding people in depth to begin with. That's my nature.
Yeah.
But I think it actually goes back. I know you and I have joked about this before. I think it goes back to childhood. You know, I'm pretty sure I was hustling like back then and like offering people services for probably what was like 50 cents or a dollar back then. Right now, my kids are like $5 for something
Oh
that
yeah.
takes like 2 minutes. But you know, I think I always love the idea of serving people and exchange, like being rewarded. I find it super fascinating. And then when it's like win-win, hello, like it doesn't get any better than that.
No, I was actually writing a blog post this morning about the win-win and thinking
Ooh,
about, because I've been in sales like you. I've been in sales my whole entire life. My parents
yeah.
do high-end travel, so I was selling,
Yes.
$75,000 bar mitzvahs when I was a teenager. But it but I grew up. So my dad's in. He's an entrepreneur. Multiple. We had gas stations from car washes to electronic companies, limo companies. But the constant in my house growing up, like a Thursday night activity, was straightening out all the dollar bills so they were all going the
Oh.
right way
Oh yeah,
and
I
putting
remember
them.
doing. Yeah, you had to turn them the right way and separate
Yeah.
them and like the you know currency, the dollars and the fives and the
Oh,
tens. Absolutely
right. So I can go to the bank in the morning, and as a family, we would do that, and I would get money at the end of that, and that always I was like, oh, I do stuff and I get money. And when I learned that I can just speak and get money, that for me was
amazing.
like the turning point. And I know for
Yeah.
you too, it's about how you're standing out in sales
Yes.
and how do you get that personal salesperson? Because so many, I'm sure you hear all the time, I hate sales, I can't do it,
I know.
it's the worst.
Oh,
But let's talk
it
about.
makes me so sad when people are like that too, because I'm like, no, it's in my mind, it's quite beautiful and transformational.
Let's how I feel about live video. Yeah, I can't come on live video. I'm like, it's my favorite place to be. It's my favorite thing to do is to have this, like, have real conversations out in the public. But I think I like your philosophy a lot about standing out
Yeah.
and not following like this formula. And I know that you have a gift for everybody that's watching and everybody who
Aw.
comes to see your space in the world. Tell us a little bit about standing out in sales.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, what we know, like definitely pre-pandemic, but post-pandemic, you know, not to keep bringing up that term, but what we know when you, right, I'm like over it. But when you look
Never.
at consumer confidence, what we know is that people need more touch points than ever before, right? You have to establish the whole know, like, and trust. It's the same if we kind of step away from it for a second and all of a sudden you're like, okay, why does everyone have all these apps and why are they requiring my phone number here, and you know, why does like Google like track us, and I can't, that A word, her name is always like listening to us. Well, it's really like all market knowledge, right? And they're finding ways, they take all this data and
Mhm.
collect it and they're saying, okay, like how can we stand out, how can we do things differently? And it's the same thing when you think of sales. We have to set ourselves apart because the cookie cutter model does not work. And it surely does not. If there's one thing we know, nobody wants to be in that model. It's not sustainable. It doesn't work for everyone, right? So when I think about standing out in sales, I really think about human connection, deep and meaningful relationships, more touch points needed now than ever before. And my philosophy is I would rather front load all of that work, do it on the front end, build up the whole know, like, and trust to really establish that rapport, then spend time following up with people a million times after they already got to that point of uncertainty, right? So just put the touch points in place, find a way to stand out up front. And I share some of those tools. You know, Beth, one of the things you were touching on is the sales script, which we're going to gift you today, is super duper exciting. This is I know, yay! Cue the music. This is the same script that I use to train sales teams that are known for their 70% plus conversions during very big launches and live events. And
Wow.
the beauty, yes, wow, right? Huge. But these goddesses do it because what the sales script does, it's one tiny small way of teaching us how to increase our sales conversion, which is another way to stand out and bring people in sooner.
So I've been having a lot of these conversations lately because I love doing these interviews, and we kind of actually end up having the same conversations over and over again. And the last conversation I had with Tracy Goodwin was about like now people need all these touch points.
Yes.
It's not good enough to come to a
No.
webinar, go to the landing page, and it's having multiple conversations. And I hear so often in the ethos, I want to do this without my face. I don't want to have to talk to anybody. But there's that juxtaposition between what's actually going to work in the marketplace and what marketing is telling us to
That's
do.
That's right. Yeah. And I think also, there's also different price points, different
Yeah.
investments, right? And up until a certain investment, what we've kind of seen across the board is maybe, at least in the online coaching industry, maybe up to around $2,000, you can still click to buy. However, we're starting to see that slightly evolve right now as well.
Yeah.
But really anything more, there's beautiful when I talk about sales conversions, and you were just saying, like, getting people to register, getting people to
Hmm.
show up. When we look at sales conversions, and I say high touch points, it's every single step of the way. So if you have an event or a launch coming up, I don't want you to think, okay, great, we created this beautiful landing page and now we're done. As we know, there's psychology in the landing page, right?
Hmm.
There's psychology in getting people to register, but also what are we doing to get people to show up? Because look at, we all know industry stats, and yes, these can change and evolve and are dependent on the size of your audience, but we know that 30% of those people should show up, right? So what can we do to get them to show up? Are you offering something within the first few moments? Are you sharing something that you've never shared before? What are we getting them to do to stay throughout the duration? Are there surprise gifts, surprise raffles throughout? Do they get points? Is there live coaching only if they're there? What are we doing to ensure that they are absolutely there during your pitch, that they stay through your pitch, that they book that sales conversation? So what we want to do is strategize, not put all the prettiness into the gorgeous landing page, but really think about
Yeah.
from start to finish, how can we, is that a bless you? Bless,
Oh,
woo,
on the
bless you.
truth. On the
Yeah,
truth.
on the truth. If you do two more, you get a wish, I hear.
Okay.
But what we want to do is, it's so gorgeous, and we put all this work into it. As you know,
Yeah.
you just came out of a launch.
I
It
know.
requires so much work. And when we think about, like, what are ways that we can stand out from point A to Z, they're really going to help you along the way, really drive your sales conversions. And the reason this is epic is when we increase our sales conversion, as you know, we're putting more money into our business.
Yep.
We are putting time back into our calendar. And hello, we are serving in a beautiful way. We're making that impact that we're meant to make.
Getting it and getting in front of more and more people as we do this. You know what comes up for
Yes.
me, James, is like I feel like so often people are telling us like the things to do. But what comes up for me is like, are those little things that I didn't do actually the reason why I don't have more sales?
Ooh, that is a great question. So, we can always point the finger at all of the
Mm-hmm.
things. And here's what I say. When we're in evergreen models, we can tweak every single month. Unfortunately, when we're in these launches or events, it's a
Yep.
big splash. A lot of times people don't realize we're planning a good, like, there's usually like a 60, 90, maybe even 120-day like
Yes.
runway leading up to these
Yes.
things, right? There's
Yeah.
a lot of planning that goes in. So I think, I really look at this like as an athletic event. It's really kind of like, over time you have trained so hard for this. This is not where you choose to kind of to stop. This is where
Mm-hmm.
we pull out all of the stops. And when we're tired, we just have to really go into overdrive. We have to know that we're really doing all of the things. And I want to talk to you a moment about this too, because with launches, I don't want anyone to ever think like, oh no, I didn't hit the number of registration, so I can't make that goal that I set up front.
Right.
That's the beauty in sales conversions. There's always time to pivot along the way, and you can like modify like
Mm-hmm.
how you're pitching to who's in the room. You can modify like how you're showing case studies, how you're connecting with these people. Offer them calls sooner. Don't project your calendar so far out. Like pull it back. There's so many different opportunities that are strategically smart to increase your conversions. And for you who are
Right.
like, oh no, if I didn't do it, did I miss it by not doing these little things? There's still time. Like if you're post launch, you're still in your downsell, upsell period,
Right.
and we could still do some high touch efforts and retarget the people that either registered and didn't show up. Like life happens, we know it. So what I'm saying is it's never too late. There's always time to still drive those sales conversions. Can you see? I'm like, oh my goodness, it's like Monday morning and I'm like sales loving. Like I'm ridiculously passionate. I sound like a little 12-year-old every time. I get so
No.
excited.
No, so you make me excited about it. But honestly, what's coming up for me is like, I don't know anybody else who's so spiritual and so like glass blowing over and does sales. Usually it's like
Aw.
you're a separate part of the brain. That's one of the things that I love you. And we got a Miranda also loving it here. Thank you,
Aw.
Miranda. But it's about right lovingly understanding what to do for your business next
Yeah.
because right according to the numbers, and that's the thing that saves me, and probably a lot of people are watching and listening to what you're saying too. It's like I have to look back and see what happened last time to see how
Yeah.
well I actually did, not what my bank account says.
That's
And because
right.
testing, which is a dirty word in my house because I hate this piece of our business, is you have to test it and tweak it and test it and tweak it and test it. And when I speak to newer business owners, because I have a new bonus coming out called How to Make 10K from Your Next Podcast
Ooh,
Interview, I literally got this question: how long did it take you to do that?
ooh, ooh,
There's no
ooh.
length, right? There's following what I say and following how I do it, and then
Yeah,
incorporating that into your business so it works. It's not about the time. It's about the data until it hits, because we're all told, like, I have this 7-figure funnel and this
right.
7-figure funnel, but it took you 3.5 years to make
Yeah.
that work.
Yeah.
That's the
And
part that I want you to talk about a little bit
that's
more.
right. And I want to be vulnerable here too, because you're talking about like testing and tweaking.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful with that, because some people, like myself, I could be so guilty sometimes of wanting to get it right, where instead of taking imperfect action, I'm not taking any
Yeah.
action. So the beautiful thing is, I help all kinds of amazing entrepreneurs, with their launches and their live events. And I come in and cultivate these amazing sales teams and train them. But the truth is, often so many people are like, Jamie, when are you rolling out StandOut Sales again, which is my 12-week training? And I'm like, So I'm just as guilty sometimes, because I want to go in and revise like parts of it and take it to the next level. And I realize it's like, great. It is good to go. And I can help so many people make money right now. So when you're talking about the test and tweak and the time it takes, the thing is, as in sales, the time is always right now. There's no better time than now. And when we look at like refining it, I also want to talk about that too, because I think sometimes we're so caught up on, like, as you said, what it means financially. Okay, I love money. I will talk about money. I
Yeah.
love making money. However, my love currency has evolved over the last few years. Like, the money comes, opportunities continue to come. But for me, time is huge. So when you're talking about, testing and tweaking, there's other things we're tweaking. It's not always, when I think about increasing conversions, it's also what's going to free up time in my calendar. What's going to make me feel not so depleted coming
Yeah.
out of this launch? How many more women or people, can I serve during this time? Am I in community too much? Am I in community not enough? So when we're talking about tweaking, it's not just what's increasing the numbers, it's really what's increasing the brilliance from start to finish in our business model.
Ooh, that was just preach. But you also left us a little gem that we have a program coming soon. I don't think you
Oh,
meant to say that, so I think we can hold you to it if you said it on
oh
air.
my gosh. That's like a little accountability
A
there. Yeah, so
little.
yeah, a little bit of accountability. So we
Jimmy's like,
will
erase this now. We're not
erase,
posting this.
edit. Like, can you edit a live?
No.
Okay, if you're watching, get off right now. No, um, yeah. So listen, I love helping in a huge, huge way, and people kindly have come to me and said, how do I get my version of a Jamie? How can I have a Jamie? Right. And
Yeah.
as much as I would love to clone myself and be all the
Like,
places.
unzip it now.
Yeah, the truth is, when I think about the sales teams that I've cultivated over the year, when I say goddesses, I mean beautiful human beings from the inside and out, because everything we teach, it is not like the cheesy one-liners or the twisting of the arm. It is teaching how to connect with people in a deep and meaningful way. It is teaching them how to drive those conversions, to work in a very smart way. And I know I've done this for teams, and I'm like, I need to make this available to the masses. I need to make this available to,
Yeah.
yes, whether you are that entrepreneur still taking your own calls, whether you have that person on your team that really wants to move up within your business and is like, hey, I just need to be trained on how to, or even like right now, I'm helping an amazing visionary that has a sales team in place, but we just need to fine tune and streamline some of their systems. They're kind of right at that like 7 to 900,000 mark, and they're ready to like surpass that $1 million mark. And in order to do that, we have to streamline and put like tighter systems in place, right? So I'm like, I want to make this available to the masses. So yes, here in the next few months, we're going to be rolling out StandOut Sales, which is so sweet of you. This is not, we don't have to do this right now. This is so kind of you, but
So
it's a,
excited. I can't wait to be a part of it and get all my people to be a part of it,
aw,
because we all need your help, James. It's not like,
I know.
the simple question I have for you next was like, can you share a tip on how to close more sales in less time?
Ooh,
Which to you is like, to us is like,
I
you can't do
know.
it. And this is why we need more Jamie in the world. Go ahead.
Aw, thank you. And just like here, and thank you for asking that,
Of course.
because you're right. For me, I'm like, oh my goodness, everybody knows how to do this, right? And we all think that about our own thing, which is exactly why we need to all be out there doing our own thing. Because what I've learned is it's not as comfortable and easy for everyone else,
No.
right? Yes. So a couple of ways, bird's eye view to drive your sales conversions. You want to know how to connect with people in a deep and meaningful way and fast. So we can do that through the sales conversation. If you're like, Jamie, I'm not having sales conversations, here's the thing. If you are writing email copy, if you are posting on social anywhere, if you are virtually speaking or in person speaking, if you are hosting a webinar or masterclass, yes, you are having sales conversations. It is all part of the sales conversation. Okay. So we can learn how to increase and improve our sales conversations. The other thing we want to do is really understand buyer characteristics, all right? And what I mean by that is really identify not only how you're showing up, but really how to connect with people and understand, what their love language is, what's their buyers like language, what do I need to get across to them, right? And we do this by like intense training when it comes to really understanding human beings and buying. There's so many tests out there that are amazing where people are like, oh, I'm this and I'm that. And what we do is we take that information and teach you how to use it instead for yourself, how to use it to connect with others. And of course, like systems, right? But there's one little tip. When you're thinking about the sales conversation, right? We always like establish rapport. One thing I always want you to do, whether you are leading a masterclass, a webinar, hosting a sales conversation, whatever that is, I want you to frame every single conversation. And I'm going to share this tip because for anyone out there, raise your hand or drop, oh yes, or heart in the chat if this is you. If there's any part of you that is uncomfortable when it comes to the investment part of the sales conversation, or if you have this amazing conversation and you're like, oh, I need to tell everyone, what the investment is, do this upfront. Make sure you are doing this upfront. Right after you establish rapport, frame what you're going to be talking about. Okay, so something like this would be like, ready for a little role play, Beth? Woo! So something like this would be like, Beth, I feel like I can talk to you all day, but what I really want to do is I want to take the next 30 minutes and really dive in, because the truth is I have more questions about, your business, your life, your intentions, and I would love to support you in a bigger way. And, you'll have opportunity to ask me questions as well. And if it feels like I could properly support you, I'll tell you a little bit more about StandOut Sales and the investment. How does that sound?
Ooh, I'm in.
Yeah.
I don't care
Yeah.
how much it is.
Yeah. So what we want to do here, and the reason we always want to frame whatever we're teaching is because, one, it allows us to go from that friendly relationship to really showing up as the authority and the expert. Two, it gives a time frame, right? So people know what to anticipate and in which time we're moving forward. Three, it also allows them, to know that we're going to be talking about a program. So not all of a sudden a surprise when you say, hey, I'm offering this. And then it also lets them know there's an investment. So when it gets to the point of investment or how to work with you, it's not like, oh my goodness, can you believe that they put this out there? We told them upfront within the first few moments that we were going to do this. And guess what? They said, it sounds good. So just make sure you're framing everything, have fun with it. It really will set you up as being like the expert, and it will really gain their attention, and they're going to dive right in and they're going to be like, okay, what are they going to ask me next? I love it. It's so much fun.
Oh my God, I love that advice. That is so critical.
Critical. Let's make up. No, we can make up. Wait, we can like make crucial and critical. We can make our own word on this fine Monday morning.
Crucial. Because
Crucial.
if I've run those conversations that where somebody, they're trying to sell me, and I'm like, we're talking about like the weather for 9 minutes. Like, what's going on? Are we having this conversation? Because I know because I have a script I've developed over the last couple of years. When I use my script, it just flows better. When I'm like, let's have a conversation, everyone's confused, know where we're coming from. So if you're watching and going, I need Jamie in my life, because I know you do, and when I do this, it's the right thing to do. Go into the comments, you'll see her link. Go to her link in bio for the new StandOut script. That's not just a script, Jamie. You're also giving us a training. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, there's a training and there's a template to really make it your own. It's okay. See, it's good that I have, if you could hear Beth's dog right now, it's good that I have my headset in, because if my dog heard her dog, my dog would be barking too. This is life. This is what happens.
So, there's geese outside.
Oh, of course. The geese are making an appearance on a Monday morning. They're happy. So here's the thing. Yes, you have access to the script, which is awesome. And we also give you a template as well to make it your own, because you're going to see at the top of the script, I talk about the beauty in a script is really kind of making it your own. I do not want you to repeat my words. I want you to really feel comfortable with it, feel confident with it. And I really created this beautiful outline. So you get to make it your own. You get to walk away with it. It's super easy, super user friendly. There's a training as well, and have fun with it. And if you have questions, you're like, Jamie, I don't know how to get to this part. Send me a message, send Beth a message. Because what we both want for you is we want you to be out in the spotlight. We want you to be more visible and confident making sales. Why? Because all of us, for our businesses to continue to move forward, we need to generate sales. That is what allows us to put money into our business. That's what allows us to make a greater impact and to have that freedom and flexibility with our calendar that we all want as entrepreneurs.
And don't you want to learn from somebody who has such passion and such energy
Aww.
around just talking about a script and a script, a template, a training, and
all the goodness.
Support. All the goodness. So if you're looking for a sales whisperer, I think we just proved it. She's right here. Jane, as always, I appreciate you so much coming on. I am going to ask you one more question to throw you off.
Okay.
What is your favorite non-child? So something you're not going to eat off your child's plate, something that you like. What's your favorite snack?
Oh, my favorite snack. First, I love to snack. And what is my go-to? I'm kind of corny, but I love I love dehydrated things, like dehydrated bananas, dehydrated strawberries. Because if I'm sitting here and I'm working, but I will say we always have fruit cut up too. So I'm grabbing like fruit, with this kind of roll often. For some, don't judge me. I know I should be sitting down and having that full blown like meal and stuff, but often in like back-to-back meetings, it's like the bowl of cantaloupe or something like right next to me that I can literally, like the bowl of strawberries that I can literally grab and go. And I will also say to, you will usually always see me multi-handed with lots of water and a tea, and sometimes even like a smoothie that always has protein in it as well. Yes. So I'm often like drinking, consuming, kind of like really, because I have lots of high energy, I do require lots of like snacks and lots of hydration to keep me going throughout the day.
Well, inspirational, because we're not all eating fruit and snacks and stuff like that. What I had dried blueberries.
Yes.
Sorry, freeze-dried strawberries with yogurt and then fresh blueberries in it.
Yeah.
Coconut yogurt. So
like
I'm with you. And
yeah.
The glowy skin.
This morning we have it, my daughter and I, we named it golden oatmeal, and it's so silly. It's literally just, we take maple oatmeal and we put a little almond butter in it with chia seed and then sliced up banana, and we call it golden oatmeal. So I say, do you want golden oatmeal for breakfast? And she says, yes, that's what we had this morning.
Oh, you want good fiber, good carbs, and good protein? Good job, Mom.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Well, Jamie, thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your heart today. I really appreciate it. As I said, all of Jamie's links will be in the caption, so you can go find out about her free download, and then keep an eye out, because those tickets are gonna go fast. I appreciate you so much, Jamie. Thank you so much for coming on. And once again, thank you for coming back to Behind the Spotlight. All week we'll be having amazing women come and tell us about their passions and maybe their snacks. We'll see what happens. Talk to you
Maybe
later.
their snacks.
Bye, babe.